Hello everybody, my name is Wilder.
You can call me Sal.
And welcome to episode 2 of our podcast.
Our podcast with Wilder and Sal.
A podcast with... we actually were having a conversation before we started recording this. And we stopped the conversation because it was getting too far.
It was getting too interesting for us to not record it.
So we were like, hey, let's record a podcast.
Yeah. Did you want to sum up what we were talking about initially?
We were talking a lot about school. We
Yeah.
were talking about our experiences in school, like high school.
Yeah, we're not like elementary school, but like
Well,
school age.
so we were talking about high school and teachers, and I just want to. I didn't say this, but the reason that this came to my mind mostly is just because I was on Twitter and I saw this person who their entire TikTok was dedicated to them making videos of them pretending to be a teacher in middle school and like talking to the class, like talking to presenters and being like, I want to apologize on behalf of your fellow students because the amount of talking in this room right now is ridiculous.
Oh.
And it was like a bunch like different scenarios for
like
your
weirdly relatable. Like
Yeah,
your
yeah.
teacher totally said this shit.
Yeah, and it made everybody in the comments like cringe.
Oh my god.
And it was just that's what I was thinking about today. That's what I saw, and it made me think about like just teachers in school in general.
Okay.
The power trips they go on.
Oh my god. And it's like
The amount of noise in this room right now is ridiculous.
so like I never got that, but like the teacher would give us the silent treatment until we stopped talking.
Oh, I have a story about this. This
What?
is probably one of my best teacher stories ever. I think personally, take the story however you like, but personally, I think the teacher failed at their job because of this. I do. So, what?
Before you go, where was this? Like, was this up in?
Oh, no, this was in Quebec, when I
Okay.
lived in Quebec.
Okay.
I lived, so we were basically, it was my math teacher, right? And it was before the end of the year, so before the big exams. And we were doing a like big recap. And you know this story?
I think I do.
You
yeah.
do? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I just made like this face of like, oh yeah, right at Wilder.
So he was doing like the whole recap for the year. And I think it was most. I would say like 70%, 75% of the entire class was like not paying attention, fooling around, like joking with their friends, stuff like that, right?
As you do.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But like the teacher should anyway, hold on. I'll save my opinion for later. And he basically kept being like, guys, you have to stop talking. Like, you have to like pay attention. It's for the exam. This is for your own benefit. Like, the teacher, like, this is for your benefit. I'm doing this for you. Like, that whole thing.
Yeah, like I don't have to do this, guys.
yeah, exactly. And so he was like, I'm like, this is for the exam. And he basically was constantly. It was mostly like some, the group of guys in the back, right?
Oh yeah, like the group of guys, like almost jocks or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that think they're
literally,
all that.
Yeah, literally. And so they're like, just talking, like goofing around because they're not gonna like, like pass or anything anyway.
Right.
I mean, that was pretty mean to them. They'll probably pass. But so
You're optimistic.
he kept telling me, like, just calm down. And I have to admit, myself,
And yours.
and I was not really paying attention. I could care less. But like there was like a buzz in the room, that kind of like noisy. And I think he must have asked like 12 times. And then after that, I remember he looked so like just upset. And he took to chalk because we had chalkboards. They didn't have whiteboards at that school. I don't know why. And he took this piece of chalk and just threw it like in the chalkboard like holder.
Oh
thing.
yeah. Like on the shelf.
Yeah, he just like threw it on the shelf and then was like, I'm done. Like, if you guys don't want to do this, then we don't have to. Good luck on the exam. And he went to his desk and like sat down and he put his feet up like on his desk and then just like crossed his arms and just kind of sat there looking out the window. And I was like,
I wonder if he was thinking about quitting his job at that point.
it looked like it. I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, everyone just kind of fell silent and was like, huh? And he was like, I'm done. Like, good luck on the exam. That's it from me. Have a good exam time. Like, he was done. And for the rest of like the last like 15, 20 minutes of class, he just kind of sat there, just hung out.
What did the rest of the class do?
Started talking again. We just started talking again. So, but my thought process was like, why don't you just throw out the like I said, 70%, 75% of the class was actually like talking and stuff. But there was obvious, like there were people who were obviously the problem, right?
Yeah.
And if you throw those people out, you have that like authority command, and so everyone else is like, oh, this is actually real. Like, oh, we can get thrown out, or like, you know, just.
But instead, he just gave up.
Instead, he just kind of gave up. You know, like why not throw that kid out of the class? I feel bad for the other people, like the other 30, 25% who are actually listening and like taking notes
because they just lost out on serious study material.
Yeah. But like if he had actually thrown out the problem kids, that would have been fine. The other kids would have kind of like just shut up because they would have realized, oh, okay, it's serious time. But he just kind of gave up.
Did anybody get detention that day from him, or no? He just
gave up.
He just phoned in the rest of.
Yep. I mean, it was the end of the year. That was our last math class with him, so I don't think he could give anyone detention anyway.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever had an experience like that where a teacher just kind of gave up and you could see it?
I've had it like I already mentioned, like, you know, the teacher giving you the silent treatment until you shut the hell up, you know?
Yeah.
I've had that a couple times in school in various grades. But a really memorable one was there was a time, I think it was it would have been grade 11 social studies, and for those of you who don't know, social studies is a mix of geography and history mixed together, because why would school pay for two different subjects? Anyways, so at that point we were learning about the two world wars towards modern day Canada, so which covers about 100 years of history, which is a lot. And we had a government-issued exam to write about those 100 years.
Oh, government-issued exams.
Yeah. And as a huge favor, one of the teachers actually volunteered one of his weekends to come to the school, open his classroom, and hold a cram session. Wow. Where he would literally give a 3-hour seminar on everything we learned in that year and answer any questions we had. He's an amazing teacher. But it was completely voluntary. It was the weekend. You did not have to come, and if you did, you were expected to be 100% ready for what he was about to give you.
Oh, like you were there to learn, like a university type of situation.
But there was an incentive. If you did it, you would actually get your final grade in the class raised.
Oh, so he got a bunch of problem students who came because they were going to fail.
Yes. And I'm not kidding, like, there were maybe 4 classes, so, like, maybe about 120 students that were about to write this exam that showed up. He was expecting maybe 20, but, like, the entire student body showed up. And so, it was rowdy. It was ridiculous. Not everyone had a seat. People were lining the walls. Like,
everyone showed up.
Everyone showed up. We were sharing desks. We were sharing, like, there was no room.
What happened, though?
Well, we were rowdy. There was too many of us.
So he silent treatmented you all?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's like, he wasn't even, like, in, like, because, you know, my teachers at that school would, like, you know, make an effort to dress kind of business casual. He was in, like, sweats.
Well,
like,
it's his weekend.
It's his day off. And, so he ended up, like, just sitting down on whatever stool he was using, leaned back against the whiteboard, because we had whiteboards. And, like, just, like, kind of stared up at the ceiling until we were done talking. And he's like, you know, I know you guys are getting credit for this, but remember, I'm the one that gives you the credit. That shut everybody up.
I don't know.
Because he's like, well, if you're here to get the credit and only the credit, I'll remember that.
I won't give you the credit.
I won't give you the credit. Like, it was fine after that, but, like, that was probably the most, like, quote unquote dangerous time, because, like, all of our grades were actually about to be royally fucked.
I remember exam. It just reminded me. Have you ever failed an exam? Have you ever got a failing grade on an exam?
Yes.
Like.
Yes, it was in college.
High school.
Never in high school.
I
got close, though.
I failed a lot of exams in high school. And I only got held back once because of it. I didn't get held back a grade, but a class.
Okay.
I failed my grade 11 math exam, and they held me back in math for a year. So in grade 12, I was taking a grade 11 math class. You only needed grade 11 math to pass anyway. Then I ended up dropping out of grade 12, so.
You still have.
I was gonna pass math that year, though.
Yeah, because you had a good teacher, right?
Same teacher.
Same. Even better.
I was going to pass, though, so I was pretty proud of myself, even though I just chalked up. No, but I asked that because I remember one year I got my grades back for an exam, I passed. I was always good at English in school. I was really good at English. English and history were my two subjects that
English
I
is
excelled
still
in.
your best subject.
English,
history, maybe not.
I'm not good at history, but it was my best subject. I'm good at English. I passed English easy, no problem. Passed history. I believe I failed both science and math though. The exams.
Was it like biology and shit?
It was like it was like general science.
Biochem? Yeah. Okay.
But I remember I think my science exam I had just passed like 52, 51 or something, like just barely.
Yeah, in Canada 50% is passing grade.
Not everywhere in Canada.
No. But where we're talking about it is 50.
50% passes. So I got like 51, 52% like pass. And then math,
like literally under the bar.
Math, I think I got like 36 or like 40 or something for math. So I failed that. And I remember it was like a movie scene is how it was set up, right? Because you'll see what I mean in just a second. I got my mark and I was like, man, damn, I barely passed science and I failed math horribly. So I was like, well, I gotta take this home then. So I walked out of the room and one kid in the class did not get his marks. And it was my best friend at the time.
Who?
His name was Jacob.
Okay.
And I walked out, and Jacob walked up to the teacher, and I was standing outside the door, and I remember looking back. This is why it was like a movie scene, because I looked at my mark, I looked back at Jacob, and they didn't know it was there, the teacher or him, and he walked up to the teacher, and he was like, I didn't get my marks, and she's like, I know, I wanted to give them to you personally.
Uh-oh.
And she handed them to him. Science, 100%, math, 100%.
No way.
Yeah, he passed both perfectly.
And they didn't want the other kids knowing?
Well, she wanted to personally be like, good job. Like, I'm proud of you. You are the best. Like,
aww.
And I remember he was
Good
so happy.
teacher.
He was so happy. And then I looked back down at my marks and I was just like,
fuck.
I don't like school anyway. I just kept walking.
I don't like school anyway. You still don't like school.
I don't like school. I think school is not... I don't think the way that school is set up, that it works for everybody, and I don't think that I don't think the subjects are taught in the correct ways.
Did I ever tell you about... So, I've never failed an exam, but a teacher almost sabotaged my grade to make me fail.
Oh, I vaguely remember this.
Okay, so it was once again social studies, grade 11. The teacher who, for the previous story, the teacher who helped us was not the teacher who taught me. It was another teacher. I got, like, this old bag of a teacher.
Old bag.
I really did. Anyways, she hated me, and she hated my little brother, who she taught the semester before.
Was it because of your little brother that she hated you? Probably? Was it like a...
Probably, but also I was, like, I definitely phoned in most of her class. Like, I was not paying attention because I knew the shit. Anyways, she really didn't like me, and she forced me to walk into my government-issued exam with 50%.
So you had to...
What I had to do is if I got anything less than 75% on the test, I would have failed that grade.
Did you get above 75?
I bumped up my final grade to 86% for the exam.
Let's go.
I actually got 100% on the exam.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was also because I went to that study session. And I actually,
Oh, because you got silent treatment.
Yeah, because we got silent treatment, but I was actually there to learn. Because I knew that she sabotaged my grade. Why that's allowed is beyond me. I think the worst part is I think she still teaches at that school.
The thing that just sucks is teachers, like the fact that teachers can go on power trips and it's your fault is one of the biggest flaws about school just in general.
And you're legally not old enough to do anything about it.
The social aspect of high schools and the schools in general, like, is one of the biggest problems with it. In my opinion, not the biggest problem. Again, I don't think it's taught. I don't think things are taught in the correct way, and it's not for everybody. Because of how it's flawed of a system it is.
Well, you know why schools are taught the way that they are?
Why?
Is because they were, of course, the concept of education in school started a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it was actually to condition and train kids to get used to doing the same shit every single day for factory work.
So, yeah, and that's still a useful skill, but that's not what I'm talking about.
No, but that's why it's so...
That's...
poor, because evolution...
yeah. We don't all go work in factories anymore.
No, that's not, we're not in wartime anymore. Like, the times
I don't know, Twitter said World War III's coming, I don't know.
Oh my god.
Well, so but I'm just.
But like now in the modern times, it has like that rubric has literally never changed. It's like bras, but that's a whole different conversation.
It's like bras, yeah. Well, I didn't know that. That's actually really interesting.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yep.
But that also, I think
I like that. That sucks.
That does suck. But I think it's because of that brings its own new problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the reason that so many other aspects of school haven't evolved and have failed. In my eyes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just because I was bad at school doesn't mean that I'm like, I was bad at school, therefore it's not good. No. Even if I, like...
Nor were you bad at school because you were stupid.
No. That's also another thing. That's also a big thing.
Is that if you're not smart, you're not smart?
Because I was bad in school does not mean that I am stupid.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Like...
There's two different kinds of smarts. Well, there's more than that, but, like, there's two base ones, you know?
Yeah.
Book smart and street smart.
School is definitely not for everybody, and it's only because of its system.
Yeah, which has been around since the 1800s or some shit, or whenever schools was a thing.
Sorry, I got way off track. Power trips. Have you ever had a teacher, like, go on, like, a serious power trip before?
Oh.
Like, either over you or a class?
You know what? I don't remember, and the reason why I don't remember is probably because my memory forced me to forget. Because... I can think of at least 2 teachers in my entire, not just high school, but entire life.
Yeah. That
definitely went on power trips, and I don't remember a single thing about it. Probably because I was so fucking scared, because I was a teacher's pet through and through.
I remember, well, there's also like here's a question that I think a lot of people might be able to relate to. Have you ever known a student, like a kid, like maybe in your class, not in your class, in your school, who is just like a bad person, like just a bad human being, like they're not a nice person, they're not nice to people, they don't respect, but like there's a teacher who is also kind of not liked or whatever, or maybe they're liked, but there's a teacher who looks at that kid as like a model student. Have you ever had that situation? I can think of the perfect situation, and Katreya knows it too.
Go for it. I'm racking my brain.
Well, so I'm not gonna drop any names, right?
No. Let's like use Bill and Ted for the name.
First of all, they were both female.
Oh, so Billy.
Billy and Teddy. Well, so it was just a situation where like there was this girl. She was like I don't know if you understand what I mean when I say this. Some people really don't understand this, but generic high school student. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like the popular girl or the jock, like that type.
Like just the generic, like, hi, I'm 16 and I'm in high school.
And like, hi, I'm 16, I'm in high school. I hate my parents. My parents don't understand. Like that type of like, that whole.
So like, but kind of unpopular?
But no, popular.
Oh, like the super relatable.
What?
Like the super relatable high school student trope?
What do you mean?
Like, well, like, there's tropes for every...
Yeah.
Is this specific person that you're speaking about follows the trope of, like, I'm a relatable 16-year-old in high school because I hate my parents.
Oh, yeah. Like how like the Mean Girls kind of, like...
Yeah, like, here's the preps, here's the goths, here's
your
relatables.
Yeah. Well, so she was just, like...
Like, does she fall under that archetype?
I don't know. So, like... I mean, she was kind of popular. Everybody knew her. I
think I fall on that mark.
Well, no, because you're not a trash human being.
Oh, sick. All right, that's the standards that we set out now.
She was the type of person who would, like, make fun of you for being depressed, and then she would go up on stage at a mental health rally and be like, we're here for you. Like, you can come and talk to me anytime you need. Like, that type of person.
Oh, that one.
Like, those...
I don't personally...
Like, those backstabbing, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like they're up for their own personal image, but not anybody else's.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
You mean narcissists?
Yes, that's like yeah. Like like those type of kids. There was a kid in my class like that, and well, she was a year older than me, but she was that type of person, and there was a teacher who like was really like close to her, and she saw her as like a model student just because she had like good grades.
Gotcha.
But she was like a horrible person.
Okay, so like,
By the way, that is a true story. She made fun of somebody for having depression and being depressed, and then went up, like, we had a
rally or
a
whatever?
seminar for, like, mental health, and she went on stage and was like, we're here for you, can talk to me if you need to.
bullshit.
Yeah, like, exactly. And everyone was like, oh, she's such a good person. Like,
Man, I think I work with one of those.
yeah.
Okay, so in my school, no, I don't know anybody like that, but also because...
Thank God, it's horrible.
Well,
It's horrible to watch them get praised for everything and then just be like, you are just a horrible person to everybody. You're just mean and no one sees it.
Well, like, not to, like, toot my own horn, but, like, a lot of the people in my graduation class were really good people. And while, like, sure, there were some unsavory types, the amount of character development that happened in my...
Character development?
Well, yeah. Like,
I know what you mean.
Like, the growth that each person went through in my graduation class is actually kind of impressive.
Yeah.
So, no, I actually didn't know anybody like that, and I think I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
Clearly.
It was, I don't know, it's just, it sucks to have, I don't know, it's just to see a horrible person get praised for being a good person, and you're like, what, that's ass backwards.
Well, it's like watching the villain win.
It's exactly what that's exactly what it's like.
It's like the villain wins, even though the hero did their best efforts to, like, triumph, But the villain won because they're rich and their parents are... No, I'm not projecting.
I'm not projecting.
I'm not projecting at all. What are you talking about?
No, I've been in that. I just want to ask because it's horrible, and I was just like, huh. I don't know, because of this conversation. There are so many memories that are coming back that I just forgot about.
Yeah, a lot of mine have been repressed. High school was not a good time for me. I mean, obviously it wasn't a good time for anyone, but for me, college was the real ringer. I spoke.
So you failed an exam, but it was in college.
Yeah, I failed the college exam.
What did your parents think? Did they care? Because college was different than high school.
Well, like, I guess I probably should just maybe go into the college story just a little bit that I touched on last episode. Just a little bit.
Sure. Too.
Last episode I mentioned I dropped out of college. But I actually left, like, the true reason I left university was because I was just so depressed. I was depressed.
All your mental health problems started coming up, right?
And I got cold feet for my major. Like, I did not believe that I could actually succeed in the major that I'd chosen, which...
What was your major?
Education.
Yeah, you were going to be a teacher.
I was going to be a high school music teacher. That was my dream. Maybe still is. But I got such cold feet because I realized that the job climate I was going into wasn't good. And I thought that I couldn't do it, and my mental health just reared its ugly head. And right before one of my written exams for college, I realized I'm dropping out. And I told my mom this, like, I can't do this anymore. She's like, you're writing your exams. Like, I don't care, like, I'm just glad that you had this realization, that's fine, sweetie, but, like, you're writing your exams. And I'm like... Oh, good. Great. Perfect. Okay, great. Thanks, Mom. Like, yeah, sure, I can totally do that.
I don't see a point in doing that, though, because if you have the mindset of, like, I'm dropping out after this, you're not going to focus on those exams anyway.
For those of you who know what GPA is, I got a 0.3% GPA.
I don't know what that is. Well, I know what it is, but
it's a massive fail.
I know what GPA is, but I don't understand the number.
Oh, it's a massive fail.
I forget all about that.
It's beyond fail.
Well, so did they care, or your parents? What did they think? Because you were dropped out anyway by then, right?
Well, yeah, because I stopped going to classes, but I still had to write my exam.
Yeah, but
to be fair, there was only like a week left, anyways.
I mean, like... Well, my question still stands. Mm-hmm. What did your parents think? Because you dropped out anyway.
I don't think my dad was surprised by it at all. I think he kind of expected me to, which kind of burns. But like, I put a lot of pressure on myself when I was too young to be doing that to myself, I guess. But when I was conditioned to do that my whole life,
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know any better. My mom was completely supportive the whole way. She's like, no, you do you, sweetie. Like, and when she learned I was going to university, she's like, you do you, sweetie.
When I dropped out of high school,
Yeah, what happened? You never actually told me what happened. Like, what did your parents say?
So my grandparents, I think... Well, so it's weird. My aunt and uncle, who so at the time, I was living with my older sister. Mm-hmm. And I was going to school... maybe I should back up just a little bit. I'll explain this really quickly. So I was in second semester, grade 12. And I had a big falling out with my best friend. My girlfriend at the time had broken up with me because she had been manipulated by some of her friends, and
It was a mess.
It was a really big, like, high school drama mess that I was in the middle of. I love high school drama as long as someone's telling me about it from the outside. It's so interesting to hear about drama.
Even now, you love hearing about the drama at my work because you're not part of it.
Oh, yeah, if you're not part of drama, it's delicious to listen to. But if you're in it, it sucks. So I was in this big, huge mess with some of the most popular kids in school, and it sucked because all eyes were on it. Everyone knew what was happening. And I was like, how do you know what's happening about my life? And they're like, well...
Who doesn't know?
This person told this person, who told her, who told him, who told me. Like,
and it becomes a grapevine.
Yeah. And I was getting super depressed because all that was happening. And so that Christmas, my stepsister was moving away. And so I was like, I wish I could just come with you. And she was like, why can't you? And so in a week, I moved my entire life to...
Why was she moving again?
To go to university.
Right. Okay, so she was leaving the city, like leaving the... She was actually moving very far away to go to university.
Pretty far, yeah. So I moved with her in like a week. And I went to high school there. And they were like, you're going to have to complete this semester and then another semester after this. So basically I had to do one more year, one extra semester. And so I kind of went to school, kind of, at the beginning. I just started skipping a lot. And it was a time in my life where I'm like, what am I going to do after high school? Especially now because I moved and I'm already living on my own. When the day I finish high school and I'm still living here, what am I going to do? And so there were like a lot of thoughts through my head.
Keeping in mind that you're like, what, 16, 17?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot for a 16-year-old.
No, I had just turned 18.
Okay, that's still a lot for an 18-year-old.
I had just turned 18. Yeah, so I was living alone with my sister, right? Mm-hmm. So there was no one really to enforce that go to school mentality.
Yeah, because she was busy doing her own shit.
And yeah, like she had her own life and her own schoolwork to take care of. And I was the one who was like, I can take care of myself. That's why I'm going. And everyone was like, all right. And, I just didn't go to school. Like I skipped a lot. My teachers started to approach me the days that I did show up and they were like, you gotta show up. And I think after like just the first month, I remember I skipped school. I went to the mall just because I wasn't like I'm skipping school to go shopping. I'm skipping school to go sit in the mall and be depressed on one of the couches there.
Because you don't want to be depressed at home.
Yeah, because I don't want to go home because it's just going to be like, I'm just going to go lay down and I'm going to have a cloud of depression over me while I sleep. And I did not want that because I would have slept for like hours. And I remember my best friend called me and she was like, what's up? And I'm like, that is the best question you could have asked me right now. And I just unloaded on her. And I was talking about, like, I mentioned dropping out at one point and I was like, it's not something that I would do though. And she's like, I think you kind of need to. Like, just from someone who, like, is not part of your situation, I can already tell that, like, you're in a really bad spot.
Was that 20?
Yeah.
Fuck, that might have been one of the smartest things she's ever told you.
Yeah. And so I was talking to her about it. And then I remember I called Katreya to the mall and talked to her about that too. And she was like, if you want to do it, then you can get a job. And I was like, all right. And she was kind of like she was supportive. I almost want to say more supportive than I thought she would be, but she's always been supportive of just about everything I've done. Yeah. So it was kind of like she was like, we can figure this out. Yeah. And so I dropped out and I tried to get a job.
In hindsight, do you think she was scared of the repercussions?
I don't know. I don't probably. I mean, it's also always a scary thing. For me, it was more of like a sigh of relief. But I couldn't get a job for like the next 5 months. Yeah. And it was just, that was a really hard time in my life because I was depressed and alone and lonely and it was really bad. And I was trying so hard. And it just became just a waste of time that I'll never get back. And that's a lot of time.
Well, it was a good, 6 or 7 months, right?
It was a good, 5, 6. Yeah, around that.
You lost a lot of weight.
I did. I didn't eat a lot.
You were skin and bones.
Yeah, I didn't eat a whole lot. I was in a really bad spot. Mentally, I was really bad. But my family, my aunt and uncle lived in the same city. And I believe they found out first. And then...
That you dropped out?
Yeah. I believe they found out first. And then I think they told my stepmother and my father, maybe? I'm not sure. They found out. And then I don't think they said anything, if I'm remembering correctly. A lot of my memories from that time are just like hazy black cloud, you know?
Yeah.
But my father told my grandparents, and my grandparents called me. My grandmother called me and basically said, I was worried because they called me and they were like, you dropped out. And I was like, oh, fuck. Who told you? But basically they said, like, you have never liked school. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't kind of justify it though. And she was like, but everything else you've done, you've always known what you were doing and it's always worked out for you. You know what you like, you know what you want to do. I believe that, like, we believe that you know what you're doing, and, like, we support you. And I was like, oh.
Keep in mind, like, your grandmother was a worrywart. Like, she worried and freaked about, like, every little minor thing. Like, if someone was traveling, she wouldn't sleep until they got to their destination.
She really used to forget.
She was a big worrywart.
I'm sure she was still worried, but, like, they supported me probably as much as they could, honestly. So my family wasn't really, like, against it at all, in fact. I think most of it was just because I was on my own and I had been doing my thing for, like, 2 months at that time. So they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, you do you, sweetie.
Yeah. So that's a really rough, quick summary version of my dropout story.
Keep in mind, I dropped out of college, not high school. If I dropped out of high school, I would have had a very different song being sung by my family.
Yeah, I feel like my family was too easy on me when I dropped out, but at the same time, I'm glad they were because of why I dropped out.
Yeah.
It was just rough. I was very stuck. Also, I just wanted to mention something and I just forgot it.
Oh no.
What was I gonna say?
When do you think about that? I'm just gonna preface this. We're good now. Like...
Oh yeah, we're completely fine.
Like mental health wise, we're both in really good shape. Like
I am happy.
We're talking about real sad shit right now. I just want to let you guys know we are okay. Like
I am happier than I ever have been in my entire life. That's the truth. If you're my advice for people is if you're thinking about dropping out, don't. Just because I did it doesn't mean you should do it. It's rough to climb back from. I learned, because what happened is after, like, those 5 months or whatever, I went and worked for a summer back in my hometown, and then I started living with my grandparents instead, and they signed me up to get my GED. And
to finish high school.
Yeah, and so I got my GED. Easiest test of my life.
I remember I helped you study for it.
Yeah, the only time I ever studied was, like, the month before with you.
Which is funny, because you had a whole year to study for.
I had a whole year to study, and I didn't. I only studied with Zell at the very last minute, and I passed all of them. I wrote it was the easiest tests of my life. Like, no joke. Those were pathetically easy.
Yeah, they're meant to be.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I graduated high school with honors and scholarships out the ass.
Yeah, if I graduated...
We were both very different students.
We were. If I had graduated high school legit, then it would have been by the seat of my pants.
Yeah. No, it would have been by the skin of your fucking teeth. Like, there was no way in hell.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe a favor from a teacher. Like...
Maybe, I don't know, something.
Like, just some extra credit or some shit. Like...
Yeah, but
Like, teacher, please!
I did end up completing high school in a way.
Just not the conventional way.
Yeah, but I also realize how much of a springboard high school actually is when you actually go through it.
Still sucks,
and get to it does suck, but when you actually get to the end, when you graduate, it acts as more of a springboard than I ever thought it would. And I probably realized that more than people who graduated because I was looking at it from the outside at that time.
Oh yeah.
So I realized,
like, it helps you streamline yourself directly into the next higher education.
Yeah, I realized how I just hit the mic and it made a really weird audio waveform.
Let's give it a second.
I realized how much of a springboard it actually is. Because looking at it from the outside, I'm like, man, if I had just done that, things probably would have been so much easier. You know? But I don't regret anything I've done.
Hindsight's 20/20, as I always say.
Yeah, I don't regret any of the decisions I made just because I'm okay now.
Well, it also makes you wonder, like, if you did do something differently, would we be where we are right now, sitting on this couch recording a podcast?
No, actually.
Probably not. You'd probably be in university or some shit.
I wanted to go to university.
And I'd probably be a desk clerk somewhere.
You were gonna work at...
I was gonna be a tax advisor.
At H&R Block.
Yep.
So my plan, I call it a plan, quote unquote plan, was to go to university and get a degree in psychology.
Yep.
Because it was something that interested me, but it didn't interest me. It didn't interest me enough to be like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to university.
That was
and
your safe option.
Get into psychology. That was my plan. Like C. Like I was like.
Are you living plan A right now?
Yeah, I am. But like everybody was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I guess I kind of want to go to university and maybe like go into psychology.
That's such a safe thing to say too. Like, it's not a radical, like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, you know, which that is not what you ever said.
I've never ever said that to anybody who's asked me what I want to do, because that's something that I've never told.
It's too radical.
I've never told anybody. From a very, very young age, I wanted to make YouTube videos. Even before it was monetizable, I wanted to make YouTube videos. And so as people started making money off YouTube, I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that because, one, I want to do it, and two, now you can monetize it. And so, but I never told anyone that, because I always said I want to be a voice actor. Because I've always wanted to be a voice actor.
That was your plan B, right?
That was my plan A.
Plan A.
I wanted to be a voice actor, and everybody knew that. But really, I wanted to kind of be a YouTuber. It was like my little dream that I had. No, but like I always said, like, I don't know, I guess I'll go to university, go to, study psychology.
Like, it's such a conservative and safe answer that you don't have to worry about getting judgment from.
Yeah, but the problem with it is I'm so glad that things happened the way they did, and like I ended up moving, dropping out, getting like my GD later, because if I had actually graduated from high school and then moved somewhere for university and went into psychology, honest to God, I would not be in university right now. Instead, I would have a lot of debt and nothing to show for it. I would not have stuck with it. I know that for a fact, because it wasn't.
You would have dropped out.
It wasn't something I actually wanted to do. It was my like safe plan. My advice is like, if you want to pursue a higher education, go for it. I believe in you. I personally believe in you. Stamp, seal of approval. If you are on the fence even a little bit about getting a higher education,
don't go.
Don't do it. Do not go. Because
that's what I did.
What's going to happen is you're going to go and you're going to start teetering even more than you were, and you're going to drop out, and you're going to have a lot of debt and nothing to show for it.
That's exactly what happened to me, except I got lucky without debt. Because I had so many scholarships, so many bursaries, so many grants.
It paid for itself.
I did not lose any money from going to university, which not a lot of people can say. But I was so on the fence about my major before even going to university that halfway through one semester, I realized, oh, I'm fucked. I don't want to do this.
But even if
I didn't have all the mental health issues, I still had cold feet for my major.
Some people go when they're not certain about wanting to go, and they still get a higher education and they still thrive. That's cool. But if my personal opinion, my personal advice, if you value my advice, I don't know why you would, but if you value my advice, if you're on the fence even a little bit, don't go. Don't go. It's not going to be worth it. Just wait. At least wait. Do something else in the meantime. Do something else permanently.
Go travel.
Build something else. The internet is a wonderful place, by the way, where a lot of people can discover a lot of different things.
See how much stuff people put on the internet about your degree that you want to go into.
Yeah.
And see if you actually want to do it after looking at everything.
But also on the flip side of that, like, I don't know. Just, that's my advice, is if you're on the fence a little bit. If you're on the fence, I personally don't suggest you go, because you're just going to have a lot of debt and nothing to show for it. I would have had that, and so that's why I'm so glad things happened the way they did. Like I said before, if you're dead set on pursuing a higher education, go for it. Nice.
Oh yeah, totally. No, by all means. Like seriously, like if that's your calling, do it.
If that's your plan, go for it. But again, on the fence a little bit, wait at least.
It's not going anywhere, I promise.
At least wait. Yeah.
Actually, most countries, or actually, I don't know if it's most countries. Maybe I pulled that number out of my ass. But a lot of countries have a gap year, specifically so you don't have to go right into university. Like, you take a year.
Yeah,
And that's a very accepted thing. I think it's in Australia.
That's what a lot of people do anyway.
Yeah.
Too.
But it's just not seen as normal in Canada and well, maybe not the US.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, taking a year off might... But in Canada, it's so ingrained in our fucking heads to, like, just go straight to university.
Go, like, right after. The summer you work, and then you go to university, you know?
Yeah.
I have a few friends that did that. Like, but they're the type of people who, like, that was their plan from the beginning. Like, high school, higher education, like, house, job, career, kids, wife, not in that order. Like...
Well, you never know. Some shotgun wedding. Woo!
You know, like, that was their whole plan, right?
Yeah.
Like, they had that plan, and they went for it. Cool. That wasn't exactly my plan, so, you know, everything turned out pretty good for me.
I think so.
We got here by talking about teachers going on power trips.
Yeah, and then it became, like, a philosophy thing. I don't know. It kind of always turns a little bit, you know, parental by the end of it, because we're always, like, offering advice to the youngins who are watching. Most of the audience is older than us, but whatever. It's fine.
There's a lot of people who watch my stuff that's a lot older than me. Do you remember we did a stream once, and everyone was talking about their age? And they're like, how old are you? And I'm 22 right now. I just turned 22 in January.
I'm turning 25 very soon.
Yeah. Zel's turning 25 very soon. I turned 22 in January. But at the time I was 21, and I was like, oh, I'm 21. And, like, everybody in the chat was like,
excuse me?
I'm older than you. What? Why am I older than you? How am I older than you? I'm like, I'm just young.
You're just a young boy.
I'm just young. Which makes it...
When I was a young warthog!
But it just, like, makes me realize that when I dropped out of school, that wasn't actually that long ago. That was less than 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just, like, we're starting to wrap into, like, the decade conversation. You know, like, that was literally the source of the conversation last time. Like, we're starting to wrap into that again.
Yeah.
But, like... Man, a lot can happen in so few years.
It really can. Okay. I think this episode's over now.
Yeah, okay.
I think this is gone for long enough. I hope you enjoyed our talks about school. You want to continue the conversation? Leave it in the comments down below. If you have any questions for us, leave them in the comments as well. We'll answer them on the next episode.
If you have any stories about school that you'd like to share with us, please post them. I love reading the comments.
Yeah. Podcasts are kind of, like, infrequent. We don't exactly do them, like, every week or every month or something, but...
We're trying to do them every month.
I'd like to do them every month from now on. Patrons, you will get those first, and then everyone else will get it a little later. Thank you all so much for watching.
Listening?
Oh, yeah, listening. Thanks for listening.
There's nothing to look at.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to us just ramble about school.
This has been a podcast. Can I try that again?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
This has been a podcast.
This has been a podcast.
This has been a.
You want to get muscles and you want to get, like, super muscles in only a week? Doctors hate us. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye, everybody.